back in the BT studio. And of course, I'm speaking of Tony Loffreda. He is the Vice Chairman of RBC Wealth Management. Today, we're talking, Tony, about hot real estate market in Montreal versus the equity markets, which we've seen a lot of volatility. But I want to start with the real estate market because we have seen it being hot. What do we attribute this to?
Well, I've said it before on this show that Montreal's economy was the best kept secret.
Yeah.
I guess it's no longer a secret, right?
That's
I
right.
mean, unemployment, we look at unemployment levels, we're at 6%. Although up from the 5.6% in October, 6% is still very low in November. We see a lot of good numbers on the economy in Montreal. There's many reasons, but the economy's doing well.
Yeah, a lot of big-name businesses, of course, moving into Montreal. When you look at high-tech, you look at the artificial intelligence industry, it's a very attractive market for it. What about foreign investment? We've been hearing about foreign investment, you know, with Vancouver and Toronto, the way they've gone with the foreign tax. Who's buying here in Montreal?
Well, I've talked to a few developers. They are seeing an increase in foreign buyers, especially in the downtown area, in the condominium space. There is an increase. We don't have specific numbers on that, but there is an increase. Yet, when you get out of the core of Montreal, the downtown core, people don't see an increase in foreign buyers. I was speaking to developers in the West Island yesterday. There's some increases there, but developers in Montreal East don't see any increase in foreign buyers at all. So the economy's helping. There's also a trend with the young professionals. A lot of employment is created around young professionals today with artificial intelligence and the gaming industry in Montreal. We've done very well in certain knowledge-based industry sectors. And they like the lifestyle. They want to move back to the city. They dislike the commuting. They like walking and cycling everywhere. And Montreal offers a lot of opportunity for that at this point in time with a lot of condo sales. And there's good opportunity in Montreal. We're still a buyer's. It's a seller's market a little bit. Listings are down 18%, may I say. And so with listings being down 18%, it becomes a seller's market. But there's good opportunities out there, and sales are up 6%, right? And a record month in November.
And which is, you know, and when you look at, you know, November, December, these aren't necessarily great times for, you know, to put your homes on the market. So, you know, looking ahead, I imagine when spring comes around, those numbers will probably continue to rise.
That's right. That's right. Well, sales being up 6% is it's a record month in November for Montreal. And, you know, I was in Europe last week on business in Italy and in Germany, and getting a lot of calls. People are wondering, you know, Tony, there's market volatility on the stock market. What should I do? Should I buy a home or invest in the equity markets? And, you know. So
what's your answer? What should people do?
And despite the time difference, I spent a lot of time on the phone. You know, the Canadian dream zoning a single-family residence, right? That's the Canadian dream. So what I would suggest in a nutshell quickly this morning is take full advantage of your tax-free savings account. Invest in your tax-free savings account fully every year. You know, we have a cumulative limit of over $60,000 in 2019, $63,500, which is a substantial amount, significant amount to be able to buy a home eventually, and then buy a home. You know, let's not forget the tax-free savings account, but let's not forget that a home is free of capital gains tax, right? So when you invest in a home, eventually when you do sell it and buy a larger home, what most Canadians do, it's tax-free. So I'd say your first home is essentially what you should strive for, and invest in the equity markets in the meantime.
Tony, you mentioned young people earlier on, so let's talk about young people. Is that what would you recommend to young people? Should you invest in a home, or should you save and wait to buy a home? What's your advice?
Well, you know, it all comes down to personal objectives, obviously, but also your personal situation. When you do buy a home, you have to have the capacity to repay, right? So you need your down payment, and the larger your down payment, the lesser your payment at the end of the month. So you have to look at how much you are making. You have to be sure that if something were to happen, you have enough liquidity, because in real estate, may it be in a home or in real estate investments, there's many words, but the key words are staying power and location, right? You have to have the staying power. So make sure your salary covers your monthly payments. Make sure that if something were to happen, you have enough liquidity to cover your mortgage payments. So the home, essentially, I would say for a young person, the home is number one.
Is location still a big deal?
Location is still a big deal because it depends on your sales cycle when you do want to sell it. So the better the location, the quicker you will sell your home. Location is a big deal. Location is a big deal when it comes to real estate. It always has been. It always will be. Like it is for stocks. Quality is a big deal. You have to buy quality stocks. So I would say for a young person, invest in your tax-free savings account to the maximum, as much as you can. Once you have enough to buy a home with your 20 or 25% down payment, the larger the down payment, the better it is for you going forward.
Of course.
The more you can save. And then once you do have that, buy a home. The home is, like I said previously, home is tax-free.
Yeah.
We must never forget the taxes we pay in Canada. The home is tax-free. The capital gains are tax-free. And your tax-free savings account is tax-free. So try to accumulate as much wealth as possible in your initial years.
Yeah.
And tax-free is the best way to do it.
Tony, great advice as usual. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays to your family.
Merry Christmas to all your viewers, and thank you for your support during the year and listening, and I always enjoy it, and Merry Christmas to you and the whole team.
Thank you so much,
Keep up
Tony.
the great work.
Appreciate it. We'll be back with more Breakfast Television right after this.